G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's bloody good stories. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by a throwaway account, titled, "My fiancé told me that he is tired of hiding who he is from me, and now I'm not sure that I want to get married." My fiancé, 26 male, and I, 25 female, have been dating for 3 years. We've known each other for 8 years, and just got engaged a year ago. We're also long distance since he's military, so we only see each other for maybe 4 to 5 days a month, with the exception of summers when I move to wherever he is to stay with him for a month or two. So throughout the last 3 years of the relationship, it became very evident that my fiancé, let's call him Dave, held some pretty serious prejudices. Examples: he passionately dislikes fat people and would consistently insult strangers and make disparaging jokes about fat people. He prided himself on being an imperialist, proudly called himself a sexist, and didn't talk to women unless it was for relationship purposes. Said my brother might be treated differently by police because he looks threatening. My brother and I are black, Dave is white. Anyway, I addressed all of these things whenever they came up, and we had multiple conversations in which he decided that it was wrong to hold these beliefs. However, after addressing them, he would get extremely upset if I called him out on saying anything slightly prejudicial throughout the relationship because he would say he doesn't hold those beliefs anymore. Last month, we got into a pretty big argument about why systemic racism is bad. He said it makes the US look bad, and it weakens our foreign influence, so therefore is bad. Whereas I'm of the mind that it's bad because black people, including myself, are human beings and deserve to be treated with an equal amount of dignity, respect, and general decentness. This argument escalated, and he started going on a rant of how tired he is of stepping over eggshells around me, and how he can never find the right words to make me happy, and that he's tired of hiding who he is around me. This was very shocking, and I tried to probe more on what he is hiding, and basically, he revealed all of the prejudices that I thought he had gotten over, he still had, and was just trying to suppress them around me. He mentioned one of the things that he's tired of hiding is that he still strongly dislikes fat people, and doesn't see a problem with that. But I've suspected that this has been the cause of a lot of behaviors such as 1. Asking me how much I've eaten every day, and what time I ate, saying things like don't eat after 8 p.m. 2. Telling me to drink water all the time. 3. Insulting my friends for gaining weight. 4. Telling his own mother not to eat fatty foods. 5. Asking why some people in my family were fat. And 6. Telling me he doesn't want me to get pregnant because he wants me to be skinny longer. Countless other little things here and there, but whenever I said, "Do you have a problem with fat people still?" he would get defensive and pretend I was imagining it. Again, we're long distance, so I suppose I don't get to see the person he is all of the time, but now that he's told me, I feel like I can't trust him and he's sucking up because he knows that I don't want to do this anymore because it feels like a lie. So we're seeing a friend of his for marriage counseling. I put it in parenthesis because the guy's not qualified and talks to Dave outside of sessions all the time and even brought his own wife to a session. And now, Dave says he's ready to change and leave these prejudices behind, really this time. I've lost trust and honestly have not felt the same about our relationship since that day. Although he says he'll change this time, I'm not sure if he means it or is just trying to placate me into staying in the relationship and then reverting back whenever he feels like he has me. Plus, I believe these prejudices stem from a lack of empathy and insecurity that reflect in other areas, like the way that he reacted to the pandemic, completely ignored any rules, and felt like he could get me sick too because I'm young, even though I told him I don't want to get sick. I also reminded him that I'm high risk because I have asthma, to which he said, "Ugh, I forgot you're unhealthy." He's consistently put me down for my genes, and even explicitly said, "My genes are superior to yours." Anyway, he said what I wanted to hear in order to make me feel safe enough to move down for the summer, and when I got there in late March, he didn't want to take any precautions that we had previously discussed. For example, wearing a mask. He'd say, "I'm not a face mask kind of guy," or having hand sanitizer in the car. And he actually argued with me when I insisted and was condescending, calling me mum and rolling his eyes. With all that said, sorry I know that's a lot. Does anyone have any advice on what I should do? In the comments, a deleted account says, "Run." Yes, the statement, "my genes are superior to yours," is enough right there for you to run for the hills. All the other prejudices should make you run even faster. OP replies, "I just want to defend him slightly on that superior gene statement for more context. He claims he was referring to athleticism. He has a hyper fascination with physique and always comments on other men's muscles or athleticism. For example, every time we watch a show or movie, he will comment on how the man's physique looks. Don't think it's necessarily a race thing, more of our specific family's thing, and his horror about some of my family members being obese and me having asthma. But then again, he did say that his only black friend, who is tall and buff, would breed well 5 years ago. Yikes. Yeah, that was another argument. Guys, I'm really embarrassed about staying in this relationship. The more I think about it, the more I'm disappointed in myself for naively thinking that his continued silence on these things meant that he had changed them. Mr. Anomalistic says, food for thought. If you gained weight during pregnancy, would he leave you? You want to find a man who loves you unconditionally, since that is what marriage is. OP replies, he doesn't believe in divorce. I think that situation he might just attempt to shame me into losing weight as fast as possible. I have brought this up to him, and he's insisted it will be fine, and we will work on getting healthy again together. Another frequent argument we have revolves around what it means to be healthy. I think what calmed that fear is he stopped bringing it up this past year, so I thought that it was a thing of the past mostly, but I was wrong. I guess my problem right now is, I was done the moment he said he was hiding who he was, because that made it clear that none of these changes I thought took place actually happened. But he insisted on staying together and working things out. I feel guilty because he has cried, begged, and has had his counselor friend tell me that engagement is a commitment to get married and it cannot be broken. I'm a bit embarrassed of my submission and choice to stay with him after reading everyone's comments. I asked my best friends about leaving him, and they just told me to hang in through counseling. And I don't ever talk to my parents because I had a terrible home life. I consider myself a rather strong woman, and I can't believe I've let it go so far. And on the other hand, I'm scared to break up with him because I'm worried of how he might react and the stigma of breaking off an engagement. I guess I just wanted affirmation that it's okay to leave, since I'm not getting that elsewhere. I wish I were as strong as I thought I was, and only needed my own feelings to affirm me. I find it hard to trust myself in this situation. Thank you for giving me your honest thoughts about this. I'll be breaking it off when he comes to visit in 2 weeks, so I can hand him back his ring and do it in person. Lala2929 says, he sounds terrible though. Why are you with him? He's obviously racist. You're black. Your kids will look black to most people. Do you want them around a dad like that? You're young. Move on. OP replies, I've always thought that he was a good person and that he was just sheltered and misguided. When these things came up, especially the comment about my brother, we had a discussion about racism and how that statement is wrong. He apologized and said that he would do better. I thought that was really the end of it, but then again, other prejudices started popping up. I just kept telling myself that he was willing to be better and just needed my guidance. I know you guys just see an itemized list of prejudices, but so many people don't even know these things about him because I believe he just hides who he is to a lot of people. So my friends think he's a fine guy, and his friends think he's one of the best guys. Granted, they might share his ideologies. I know some of them are sexist. All white men are in the military. I fell in love with him and blindly accepted these flaws as fixable. I thought of him as my rock and stability and an escape from my broken home. I was arrogantly confident in my ability to show him the truth and to change things, and I honestly thought that I had for the most part until last month when he revealed otherwise. I certainly acted foolish and will now have to break off an engagement that should have never happened in the first place. Honestly, I just wanted to leave my opinion on this until the end of all of that because, Christ, what a roller coaster. The only thing that I'm questioning from OP's side was that comment of all white men are in the military. I understand what she means, but it's wrong to just paint a whole group of people with a paintbrush like that. Yes, you might have your own experiences with these groups of people, but that doesn't mean that's right, and it's not right to make those generalizations, I don't believe. But with everything else, I completely agree with OP, and I do think that she should leave this relationship. This all just to me seems like classic abuser playbook. Oh yeah, I really changed. Haha. No, I didn't actually change. I was just lying so that you'd stay with me. Oh no, I actually mean it this time. See, you can believe me because I was truthful, even though I was lying for the last 5 years to you. But now I'll be truthful. Now I'll actually change. Haha, come back, please. Crying, pleading, shitting myself on the ground. Oh no, look how pathetic I am. Look, you have to take me back. That's just how I believe that pleading situation went down. To me, this is not someone that you should keep around. This is someone that you should throw in a dumpster fire and just walk away. Although now I think of it, a dumpster fire and a dumpster fire, how does that work? Anyway. Update. Firstly, thank you everyone for your input. The run comment was pretty brutal, but effective. I broke off the engagement 3 days ago via phone call. I haven't figured out how I will return the ring, but thinking by insured mail. The call itself wasn't horrible because I think that he was in shock, but a couple of highlights from the call. He says, I might have lied. Fine, but you're a liar too. You lied about loving me. Not trying to guilt you, but you've destroyed me. I have nothing now, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with myself. Are you seeing someone else? You're making a huge mistake. All I wanted was to be a good husband to you. You're making a huge mistake. All I wanted was to be a good husband to you. These comments were hard to hear because my worst fear is that I preemptively cut off a relationship with a man who is going through active change and who loves me dearly. But at the end of the day, I realized I don't trust that he will change genuinely, and I have no idea how to measure that progress since he has proved to hide parts of himself around me. He hasn't tried to contact me since I broke things off, and I'm grateful for that. I think it would make everything so much worse. I am grieving such an immense loss, which is hard to communicate because others see it as a win by leaving an unhealthy relationship. Again, thanks everyone for the advice. In the comments, Deleted says, take the time to grieve and perhaps schedule an appointment with a licensed therapist. You might need to undo some of the work you did with the relationship counselor, who clearly didn't have your best interests in mind. All of those comments he made to you are all centered around him trying to guilt you, but none of them ask about your well-being and how he could have done better. I know it's hard, but you've made the right decision. I'm proud of you, OP. Exactly. OP didn't destroy him or the relationship, he did that himself. He is a controlling, intolerant, misogynistic bigot. Edit, manipulative too. Bigot. Now, I wanted to expand on this. Based on his comment that he views himself as imperialist, and then had to comment that he did not support the racial justice protests because it made America look bad, reveals that he'd never really changed that belief either. He obviously holds the belief that the status quo, aka white and male power structure in America, is superior to other cultures, and any attempt to change that by those not in the status quo is not America. I would have deep worries for any partner of his, especially those that are of a different race to him. There are many stories of domestic abuse and murder out there of men, especially military men, with this belief, and his controlling behavior only deepens that fear. I really wish men like this came with a warning label on them because he needs dramatic help. Deleted also says, he wants a wife that he feels fundamentally superior to. He sees her as the spoils of war, and I'm willing to bet that he believes his status as a member of the military credits him with what he perceives as American superiority and dominance. It is such a weird thing for men like me to understand. My wife is black and I am white. If I ever felt superior to a woman in any way, I would have no desire to date or marry her. What would be the point? That's not love. Honestly, what gets me the most is the fact that OP kind of agreed to go to this marriage counselor when it was his mate? Like, why? Why would you agree to that? It's obvious that you're going to have a biased experience and that the fact that his mate is talking to him constantly behind your back, that would just make me assume that they're plotting something together to skew everything in his favor. Like, yes, I do support OP for trying to communicate and trying to feel out the situation more, but that bridge in and of itself to communication, the marriage counselor being so biased towards him, would show me that he's not willing to communicate. He's trying to play all the cards in his favor so that you agree with him and you stop questioning his motives, actions, and words. Seems like a very predictable ending, and I'm glad that OP is getting out of there. It's unfortunate that it takes coming to Reddit to have all of these insane things shoved in your face, made I don't know, obvious to you that, like, these are bad things and what you don't want in a partner? I guess I've never been that lost in the source before, but hey, I'd love to know your guys' experiences with this and if you think I'm wrong on these takes that I have. Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user Recent Exit 1536, titled, "Am I the asshole for not giving my sister the wedding gift that she wanted because of how she treated my girlfriend? My girlfriend Naomi and I have been together for over a decade. My younger sister Sarah and my girlfriend have never been super close, but are friendly when we get together, or I guess they were. When Sarah was in high school, Naomi helped her out with some personal things. Sarah got married a few days ago. When Sarah announced her engagement to the family, she asked Naomi to be a bridesmaid, which surprised us a little, but Naomi was very excited because she's never gotten to do it before and probably won't have the chance. I want to be clear, there was no suggestion from either of us that Sarah should ask her. It was about 2 seconds after she told us she was engaged. She said that she was so grateful to Naomi for the help when she was younger, and Naomi was very touched. A few weeks later, Sarah posts her bridesmaid proposals brunch. Naomi wasn't there. Sarah never said it to either of our faces directly, but clearly she had changed her mind. Naomi was hurt, but said she understood because she hadn't expected the ask anyway. That would have been fine, but then a few months later, Sarah asks Naomi to go to the bachelorette party and also come get ready the day of with her friends and bridesmaids. Same thing. Naomi says yes, and even helped her find a good place to go and a rental. A month and a half before the wedding, I'm talking to my mum on the phone, and she mentions that Sarah's at her bachelorette. No mention of it to Naomi. Now I'm kind of pissed because Naomi was clearly very hurt at 2 invites and then being sort of ghosted. A week before the wedding, Naomi texted Sarah and asked about getting ready and hair and makeup, and Sarah responds acting confused and basically tells her nicely to just come with me. Then I was really pissed. Sarah wanted this really expensive baking mixer thing for a long time, and I got it for her wedding gift. My mum had ruined the surprise, so she expected it. But after everything with Naomi, I felt like being petty, and I cut her a check instead and returned the mixer. A few days after the wedding, Sarah texts me saying, "I don't know how to ask this, but what happened to the mixer?" And I responded, "I didn't know how to ask, but what happened to treating my girlfriend like a frickin' human being?" Now my brother and my new brother-in-law and mum are all texting me saying WTF mate, and I'm ruining her happy time. Naomi for her part says I probably shouldn't have done that, but she feels a little vindicated. Am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole because Sarah was expecting the fancy mixer, and I was definitely being petty. I suppose I could have communicated with her better, but Naomi told me not to, and I didn't, so that could make me the asshole too, and for upsetting her during her honeymoon period. Honestly, this is one of those stories that hits me really close to home because I've experienced a situation very similar to this, but not wedding related. I was the Naomi in this situation, and I know how absolutely soul-crushing it is to have someone do this to you, and then repeatedly do it to you after you give them another chance. In all honesty, if I were in OP's shoes, seeing the treatment of Naomi, I wouldn't even show up to the wedding. Like, why put up with someone disrespecting your partner like that? The fact that OP's brother, brother-in-law, and mum are all texting him saying WTF, mate, just shows that Sarah has gotten to them first, Sarah's given her a little spin of the situation, and she's been able to control the narrative. Great, that means OP, it's your turn to flip the narrative and give the truth about what's happened and what Sarah has been lying about. I wish Sarah the absolute worst for what she's done to your partner. You are absolutely not the asshole in this situation. I think that Sarah is a complete piece of shit. In the comments, ML Sack says, "Not the asshole. Wow, your sister is spacey or just an asshole? I'm glad you said what you did." OP replies, "I seriously don't know. I've never known her to be mean before. My mum just keeps saying that she doesn't want to bother her about it now, and I ruined her honeymoon phase already." No, you didn't. You didn't call and ask where the mixer was. Your sister did. She was more concerned about a wedding gift than enjoying herself on her honeymoon. There are so many layers of audacity in this story on the part of OP's sister, culminating in actually calling someone to ask why you didn't get the gift that you expected. What the hell is wrong with this woman? Not the asshole. I wouldn't have even given her a check. I would have bought her a whisk or a spatula and told her, Mum must have been confused, just like you were when Naomi asked you about getting ready. But I'm petty like that. Not the asshole. I think it's brilliant how you stood up for your girlfriend, and your sister is lucky that you got her a gift at all. Agreed completely. I'm actually really confused as to what was going on with the sister, and would love to know why she was being such a weirdo about it. Was she just saying that to be mean? To save face with her brother? Or did she get pressured not to have OP's girlfriend in the wedding party because of the bridesmaids' drama? It's just such a weird situation. Like, who does that? I get her for getting the initial invite, but after that, it's like cartoon levels of mean girl behavior. And OP's mum is being weird as well, but I guess that's expected, since shitty behavior is usually tracked back to her parents that didn't want to rock the boat or address what was wrong to avoid the energy. OP was completely in the right, and not the asshole. Kindly Egg says, "It is your gift and your choice." I'm very confused about your sister's motivation on all of this though. Does she have a vendetta against your girlfriend and is using the occasion to try to hurt her? Is she very absent-minded and keeps forgetting who she's inviting? Is it possible that your girlfriend offended your sister in some way after the invites? I think having an actual talk with her might be a better way to resolve this issue. OP replies, "I genuinely don't know. We've never been super close. We only see each other 3 or 4 times a month at family get-togethers, but we've always gotten along fine, and I've never known my sister to be a mean person before this. Naomi says benefit of the doubt, she overpromised the bridesmaid spot, but then realized that she didn't want as large a number. Bachelorette party was a genuine mistake, and makeup and hair was a miscommunication or misunderstanding on Naomi's part, but I don't know how. It's very odd, and I'm asking my mum to explain it to me, and she just says she doesn't want to bother my sister about it now, and we should all act like adults." Update. So I talked to Sarah, and things got more confusing. She said when she asked Naomi to be a bridesmaid, she meant an honorary bridesmaid. She then said for the bachelorette party, Naomi had told her that she works most weekends, so she didn't think that Naomi was able to attend, and was just helping her to plan. Naomi said that she told Sarah to give her dates so that she could take off. Naomi is a very non-confrontational person, and had asked me to not bring up the bridesmaid or bachelorette thing because she didn't want to feel like she was pushing in at the time, which is why I didn't. The makeup thing, my sister said that Naomi had told her that she would do her own hair, so she didn't see a reason for her to come get ready with them. My sister is still pissed at me and says that I ruined her honeymoon period. She's not on a trip, and some other really crappy stuff, so I just hung up on her. She also said that not giving the mixer was rude to her and her husband, which is hilarious because my brother-in-law probably couldn't figure out how to turn on the oven without neon flashing signs. Thanks for all the comments. I've never seen that many on any Reddit post I've ever made in my life. And you know, I'm still sticking with my story there. I do wholeheartedly believe that that was the situation, and Sarah was just trying to bury it and be like, "What? No, what are you talking about? You're the crazy one, not me. I'm not gaslighting you. What does that even mean? Why do you keep making funny little words and scenarios up? You're the crazy one here, not me." Anyway, hashtag Sarah sucks. I'm so sorry that OP and Naomi had to deal with this, but hey, I hope that you guys go no contact or low contact with her in the future because she sounds like a lot. That's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.